Are you living an exceptional life? Are you exceptional? Are you exceptional in your job? Are you exceptional as a student? Are you exceptional as a friend? Are you the exception? See, the beauty to exceptional is that if you are not the exception to the norm, the exception to the rule, the exception to what everybody else is doing, you can't be exceptional. Michael Jordan wasn't exceptional because he was like every other NBA player. The reason he's rated one of the greatest players in the history of the game is because he's different from everyone that played the game. There were greats, but he was just a unique exception. And that's an example of being the exception, and when the exception really stands out to reach that high pinnacle of success. Billionaires are not normal individuals who just woke up one day and became a billionaire. Bill Gates is an exception. Ray Dalio is an exception. Warren Buffett is an exception. These are exceptional individuals in their careers, but they're exceptional because they're the exception to the rule. Steve Jobs, definite exception, right? So when we start talking about everyday life, okay, let's bring it back down to the normal stuff. The best teachers are the exception to all the other teachers. They're different. Being different is better. Not following everybody else is better. Having a unique perspective is better. In today's world right now, you see so many sheep. You see so many people doing everything that everybody else is doing. It drives me bonkers. It really drives me bonkers because what makes you unique is the very thing that makes people interested in you. The very thing that makes you different, that makes you an exception in some way. Maybe you're exceptional. I've had this conversation with clients a lot this week. Maybe you're exceptional because you've been able to save a lot of money. You've been able to live with financial freedom. You've been able to really guide your life as an exception. You'll notice, more than likely, most of the people around you are not in that same realm. They're not like you. And that's when you have to look in the mirror and say, wow, I'm so grateful and lucky to be different. I'm so exceptional at X because I am the exception. I think we often get caught up in trends. The keeping up with the Joneses is one way to look at it. If you drive the same cars, if you live in the same neighborhoods, if you do all the same things, you're just like everybody else. That's not really what you're aiming for. That's not what most people are aiming for, right? But to be an exception, yeah, you don't want to be the only person that can't afford to pay your mortgage. That's an exception you don't want to be, right? But you do want to be the exception that maybe you're working to pay your mortgage off sooner. Maybe you're working to get out of debt sooner. Maybe your goals are set up so that you have some level of freedom because you're aiming towards something bigger. What makes you the exception? What are you exceptional at? What specifically do you do every day where you feel like being the exception is a huge win for you? And I think this is great when you're talking about jobs and careers and life in general. I use this all the time with the kids. I don't care what everybody else is doing. I don't care what time they get to go to bed or how long they get to play on their Xbox or that they have this freedom or that freedom or they can eat whatever they want. I don't care. We're going to be an exception because we're setting up goals to help them be exceptional. I want my children's uniqueness and where they stand out as an exception to be something that helps them reach exceptional in some way. And what is being exceptional? Is it really just living up to our human potential? Is it really fulfilling what we're here to do or what we're here to actually be? I tell my boys all the time, if God gifts you with a special talent, it's really nice if you put some work into it. You feel really fulfilled if you recognize that you're different from other people and you can guide yourself into that difference. You can learn from that difference. You can actually lead from that difference. There's a reason why there's generals out there in the military. Somebody has to be out there leading. Somebody has to stand out and be different. Someone has to make decisions that are uniquely challenging and maybe really, really hard. But being exceptional, whether you're a general or a teacher or a doctor, you have the ability to stand out. Maybe what makes you exceptional is you're not just a doctor, you're a doctor who relates to people. You're a doctor who can communicate to people in a way that they understand. You can break it down. The most difficult things you can make simple. Maybe that's your exception. If you're a teacher, maybe it's that you connect to the students in a way that nobody else does. Maybe you have a way of dealing with the other teachers in your school to where you help lead them to a higher level of success. I don't know what makes you exceptional, but what I do know is spend more time in the next month, in the next year, in the next years of our lives. Let's spend some more time focusing on the exceptions, because you can't find exceptional without being the exception. And if we did that, we'd have a little bit easier time separating maybe a bit from social media. As I talk to you about social media and on social media, I can obviously tell you that that would make you an exception. If you are a teenager or college age student and you don't have your phone in your hand and your face down at all times, you're an exception. If you know how to put it away and have a conversation, you're an exception. That's a great way to be exceptional. You know how you find new jobs and new relationships? You look at people in the eye. You actually learn something about them. And you don't research it, you actually ask them. The best nuggets in life come from real conversations. Come from time with your spouse that isn't in front of the stupid computer or the phone. Like, these are the things that you can have an exceptional marriage, but you have to be the exception. You have to actually invest in things that most people aren't investing in. Communication. To have an exceptional business, you have to invest in communication as well. You have to build the relationships. I feel like it's my job to know the people that work with me, for me, around me, help me every day. I want to know more about their lives. I want to understand what makes them tick. I want to understand the things that make them exceptional so I can put them in a position to be great, not just good, to be exceptional. As I read the newspapers and watch the news and digest all that's been going on in the world, I keep telling my family and everyone I talk to remember you're an exception. What makes you exceptional is your ability to digest the information you're seeing and make it your own. Make your own decisions. Make choices in life that impact you and your family to be an exceptional version of who you are. That's a choice. You don't luck into that. You don't just walk into it. You don't step back and just, oh, I'm Michael Jordan. That doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. And I think that focusing on the exceptions a little bit more. You know, when people walk in to a room and you're different, that's an exception that stands out. If I'm the only bald guy in the room, I use that to my advantage. I make a joke about it. I have fun with it. I may be the only guy that grew up in Virginia Beach on this street at this neighborhood at this time, right? Maybe that's me. But I'm going to find my exception. I'm going to find what makes me different and leverage it to find success, to find the exceptionalism. So today, I really ask you to explore what makes you exceptional. What is the exception in your life that you are investing in? There's probably a lot of them. There's probably so many things that make you exceptional. You took the time to actually watch a video like this to think about it. You know, the wisdom that comes from exploring these questions, in my mind, is so intriguing. And I hope you're enjoying the conversation. And I hope that this is something that you've thought of before and now you're going to explore it deeper. Tell me, what are you exceptional at? What do you find that you are the exception to? What norm exists that you are completely opposite of? A lot of times I'm an exception in how I eat, and I'm told that on a regular basis. What's yours? You know, what really makes you stand out from other people? I'd love to hear it. Comment below. Give us some ideas. Let's have a conversation about being exceptional and really holding on to and growing the exceptions in your life. I'm Scott Danner. Thanks for joining me.